Hi everyone, Lisa here from Forest City Stitching. Hope everyone had a great week. I am filming in the basement today just because it's quieter. So, yeah, went for a run this morning. Got up a little bit later than usual and so didn't make it downtown for 7. But I just ran from home instead. So then I just kind of had a lazy morning. So now it's almost noon and we're getting ready to go to the movies to see Bad Guys 2. So that'll be fun. A little bit cooler the last couple days, so that's been nice. Yeah, I think that's all that has been going on with me. Before I forget, because I definitely almost forgot, but the winner of the pattern from Patty, do I have a copy here? Yep. From 4 Boys and an ML Girl. The winner is Karen the Twitchy Stitcher. So congratulations, Karen. I don't think I have your email address. So if you can send me an email with your email address, I will forward the copy of the PDF over to you. So congratulations. Thank you everyone that entered. I will confess for a moment I forgot that I had said that the keyword was summer, and I was wondering why everyone was talking about their summer plans or wishing me a nice summer. And then I remembered. So apparently short-term memory loss there. And then also before I forget, I wanted to mention Kathy from Kathy's Quilts and Stitching. I will link her channel below. And she is actually having a giveaway currently. So go check her out. She doesn't have very many subscribers. She should have more. So go check her out for a watch. Okay, let's get into it. So I got my last fabric for the Brights Club for Evertoe, for Roxy Fabric Club. So this is called Whiskey. It's showing up more yellow in the camera right now. It is more of a whiskey brown orange. So I could see maybe a Halloween piece on that. Well, especially if you open it up, there's a lot more orange modeling. Again, you're not really seeing the true color. So I am planning on signing up for the neutral club in 20 count Ada is what my goal is. I just haven't hit the button to do that, but I think I have some time. Hopefully they don't sell out, but when I looked, it looked like everything is still available. So I think a lot of people are just kind of cycling through, the different memberships, so that you can do either 6 months or 12 months, and then it's every other month. Okay, I explained that correctly. All right. So Sunday after we spoke, I had a new start, and it was from the new Quintessentials Frisian Smalls Stitch Along, and that's the one for August. And I got a good amount done, really. I was just looking to get 200 stitches in for a start. So that's how it is looking. This fabric is 14 count fortnight fabric, so no longer available. But the floss is the Brennan Needle floss I got recently that I showed you, which was part of the exclusive box last year. These don't have names, so I don't know if they will have names eventually, but they don't currently. So that's the one I'm using on the peacock, and that's going to be the heart. Now, I think, so you stitch the front, and then you stitch like the back on this side, and you do back stitching around it, and then the back stitching is how you're going to sew it together. So similar to the technique you use for biscornu. The back, he recommends like your initials, but in the booklet there's also a number of different motifs. So I think I might just pick a different motif. There's also a date 1749 in the corners. I think I'm going to leave that out. Yeah, so that's what I've done so far for that. So yeah, that's stitched up super quick so far. Okay. These might not be in order, but you really don't know that. So then I stitched on the Celebration Sampler by Frosted Pumpkin. This is on a 25 opalescent over 1. Didn't do very much. Added a little bit more to this border, showing very sparkly, and finished the bear's head. So that's how that's looking. The Barbara Anna Sal. I don't have a full picture because it was released in blocks, but you've seen it around. It came out for a little bit. I did put some more of the berries in. I did realize I am going to need to get more of these thread colors because I definitely won't have enough to even finish the border, I don't think, for what I have. And this has been called for Whip Go to finish a section. So I will probably aim to finish this cat section because Mr. and Mrs. Claus don't have heads right now. Just realized this is 2 Barbara Anna pieces in a row. Let me have an easy picture. Yep. So next I worked on Dancer by Barbara Anna. I think I'm going to leave the date off at the top there. And I basically just worked on getting that little house in that's on top of his antlers. But that's how he's looking. And then last for Jolly July is the May ornament that we got as a freebie during the 2020 Linen and Thread sale. Now Fox and Rabbit sale. So this is the ornament for that. I just added, I think probably just this little area here. And 4518 is the variegated DMC that I'm using for that. I will say by the end of Jolly July, I was glad not to have to stitch on a different project each day. I definitely prefer having like a stitch goal as opposed to just a pick up and touch it goal. So, but all of them got some attention, so that was good. And then Karen the Stitching Owl will be proud of me for pulling this out. Again, no cover photo for this, but I pulled out my holiday countdown from last year because I thought, well, maybe I should try to finish it before December this year. And I needed something to get 2,500 stitches in on. I wasn't really motivated to pull out one of my bigger, like, full coverages. And thought this would be a good alternative because it needs to be done, and I'm sure it has 2,500 stitches left in it. So far I've got 1,400 more stitches in it. So just over 1,000 more stitches I need to add. Did want to show I added hair to my cheerleaders up top there. So I put in that top border, it wasn't there. Added the hair to the ladies. Finished these birds. Finished one of those pink flowers. Put these pink squares in. The stuff down here. I don't know what all that banging is upstairs, sorry. And then have been working down there in that bottom row. Sorry for all the banging. So that's pretty full coverage stitching right in this little triangle anyway. So that's how it's going. So I've got a lot of progress on that. Okay. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is I did update my Google Docs that has the Canadian Flosstubers, bag makers, fabric dyers, designers, to add retail shops as well. So if there's any that you feel need to be added, let me know. Like there are a couple like Hand Dyed by Rolanda and like Haley the Sewing Shop. I've added that there under the list for like bag makers or fabric dyers or floss dyers, right? So ones like that are already listed in another column, if that makes sense. I did also move everything to one page instead of the different sheets. I thought that just might be easier. And they are in alphabetical order as much as my brain allows it to be. When I went back in, I realized that there was a couple that were out of order, so I reorganized that. But yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes I really have to think about that, or it just doesn't cross my mind that that's important to people. So check that out. Just with recent tariff discussions going nowhere, I thought it was important for, I keep looking down because there's like a weird shadow on the carpet. And so with the recent tariff discussions and nothing really happening, I just thought that the Canadian retailers, I was able to get my head wrapped around what retailers I wanted to list, because I was worried about getting into a rabbit hole of too many. But and like, how do you make that determination of who's a retailer? But I think the fact that I had already started with the bag makers and floss dyers and fabric dyers, and they were already listed separately, because clearly they have a product to retail, but they're not like an L&S, right? So yeah, like your typical L&S, whether it be online or in brick and mortar. But so I felt confident enough how I wanted to do that. So that's updated and listed. So go check that out if you want, and keep that supporting Canada alive. All right, I hope everyone has a great weekend. It's a long weekend here in Ontario. I want to say Ontario because I don't know if it's for all provinces. And again, it's only a civic long weekend, so there's still things going to be open tomorrow, I believe, anyway. So I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you next week.